Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining to today's webinar. We're going to be talking about the new sales pricing experience. My name is Danusha Jolliffe. I'm the Marketing and Customer Services Director here at T-Vision. I'll just do the introduction, the top and tail. I'll also be paying attention to any questions you have. If you'd like to know a little bit more, please do add it to the chat box and I will ask Ian as we go along. He will be doing the demonstration for you. So today we'll be talking about the new model for sales pricing. So just to let you know, the old one will be deprecated in June, and that will be after the wave one from this year. Ian's going to be telling you a little bit more about how it works and the fact that it's based on your price lists and that you'll be able to do it per customer, contact, resource and resource group, as well as GL account. We'll also be talking about next steps. So the Fresh Desk article will be available towards the end of this week, I think. And Ian will also tell you a little bit more about using the migration model. And then finally, he will go through the demo for you, telling you how to do the migration, the setup, and how to use the price list. So Ian, over to you.
Right. Thanks, Danusha. Hope that everyone can see my screen. So as Danusha mentioned, there's a new way of doing your price lists. So in the existing environments that you have your items, and on each item you have sales prices and sales discounts, or by customer you have sales prices, sales discounts, and they're kept separately. In this new model, everything's going to be put together in one place, and you'll set up separate price lists. So you can have price lists for a customer, price lists for a campaign, price lists for a customer group, etc. And you can make them all separate, and you can manage the prices and discounts for that customer or that customer group in one place instead of having to jump between the two screens. So just to show you, I am in Business Central, and by the way, this only applies if you're on Business Central SaaS. If you're on-prem, it's not going to affect you.
Ian, sorry, just stop you. We've already had our first question, and I know the answer to this one. Is anyone actually using this from a client perspective? So are any of T-Vision's clients already using this pricing model? And I know the answer is yes. Any clients that have gone live this month already, and a couple from last month are already using it. So we do have those clients on using this already. So thank you for asking.
All right, that's actually a good question. Right, so I'm in my existing Business Central, and I'm still on the old system here. I can see I'm still on the old or the existing pricing model. If I just search for price lists, and if I search for that, you'll see this is the new way of doing our prices. And if I click on price list, it just tells me this has not been enabled. So it just shows me that we haven't turned on this new pricing experience. Just to show you what I currently do have, a very small simple database, just to try and make things go a bit faster. I have this item in Athens desk on my prices and discounts. This is what you're used to seeing, my sales prices, sales discounts for sales and for purchases. For this item, I've set up a couple of prices. So we have, for all customers, we have some default prices. If they buy more than 10, they get a special price. We have 2 customers who get special prices beyond that. And one of them is only valid for 3 months. The rest of them are valid for the entire year. So we already have that, something similar to what you would have, obviously on a much bigger scale. And for this second item, the desk chair, I set up some discounts instead of prices. And again, there's just a couple in there. So for all customers, if they buy more than 25, they're getting a 2% discount. These 2 customers, they're getting special discounts based on the quantities they buy. And again, one of them is only valid for 3 months, the rest of them are valid for the entire year. So that's something that you might already have. What you are going to need to do to test this now, you would have to turn on this new pricing experience. And please don't do this in your live company. Once you do this, there is no going back to the old system. So you need to make a copy of your live company to do some testing. and do the migration in that company. You do this on a per company basis. You're not doing it for your entire environment. So if you turn it on for one company, it's not turning it on for all the others. If you want to, you could even copy your entire environment over to UAT to get it up to date, and you can make as many companies there as you need to do testing. If you're struggling to copy companies or copy your environment, please get in touch with the support desk and we'll help you through that. Jack on our support team, he's been tasked with looking after this, so you probably end up speaking to him, but anybody else can help you if you are struggling. So once you have a test company, what you need to do is you need to turn on this feature. So you would go to feature management. I'm just going to search for that. And there's my feature management. And as you can see in feature management, when this page goes up, there's all sorts of features that you can turn on. Some of them you can turn on and off. Some of them you can turn on and they stay on. I'm just going to search here for the sales pricing. So sale, and we can see the new sales pricing experience. It says here it's going to be Q2 2024, so we're expecting this to be in June, might be in July, but it's going to be happening in the middle of this year. And when this happens, it's going to be turned on for you automatically. You will not have a choice to stay on the existing pricing methods. You will have to use this method. So please, it is really important that you test this if you are using sales prices and sales discounts to make sure that it's going to work for you after the wave. And it's better to test it now than test it 2 days before the wave and find out you've got a bit of a problem. Right, but we'll see here, it's not turned on at the moment. It says it's pending data migration. So for me to turn it on with this line highlighted, I say data update. Now I can schedule this. And I get a couple of choices here. It tells me what it's going to update. And it's asking me, do I want to use default price lists? Yes or no. And I can accept this. Once I've accepted it, I'll be able to get to the next step. I can go to next. And I can choose to run this in the background, or I'm going to leave this turned off and I'm going to run this in the foreground. I can do this in the foreground because I've got a very small database. If you've got thousands or tens of thousands of sales prices and discounts, rather do this in the background and schedule it to run 8 o'clock this evening so it's ready for you tomorrow without impacting everyone else. And just on that previous screen, this button here, you can turn it off. It will just convert all of your prices to a single sales price list. Or you can turn it on and it will try and create multiple price lists for you based on which customers, customer groups, etc. are getting these prices. We've done some testing and we find that the multiple price lists is a lot easier to understand. It kind of works the way a human brain works instead of doing it the way Microsoft wanted it to work. But if you are happy with the old model of just having one massive price list, by all means, turn this off and you'll just get one big price list. I'm going to turn that on. I'll say next and I will say update. This should take a few seconds and it's going through my existing prices. It's actually finished very quickly and it's creating new sales prices for me. Right, so now if I go and search for sales price, and I'll look at that sales price list. Now it suddenly works. It doesn't give me an error message. Unfortunately, I do not have enough data for it to have created multiple price lists. If I had dozens of companies and such like, it would have created one for each. And if I look at this sales price list that has been created, I will see all that information that was there is still here. I can see I have those special prices set up here for my old customers, for those 2 special customers, and I have discounts set up again for those old customers and special customers. And I don't have the store date in. Yes, I do, down at the front. And you can see it's brought through the starting and ending dates for those special prices. So it looks incredibly similar to what you already have. The leap is not huge to do this. You know, it's already something that you should be fairly comfortable with.
Ian,
Yep.
We've had a question from someone who said that they generally do a bulk upload of prices. Do they have to change their process, or how will it work with this new system, this new process?
It's actually a good question. So we do have some clients who, at the end of their financial year, they maybe do a record store package or config package, depending on your terminology, and they'll just do a bulk upload of all their prices for the new year. You can definitely still do that, but you will have to change those config packages because now it's going to be writing to different tables. And there's going to be a few extra columns that will need to be filled in. Again, it's not onerous change, it's small changes, but it should make your life easier when you come to look at those price lists. So we have these price lists. You get a header section and it tells you, this is my default price list. It's for all customers. Let me just show some more fields for you here. It's for all customers. It includes both prices and discounts on this price list. You can have different settings there. It's currently active, so if anybody creates a sales order for any of these dates, it will use the prices that it finds here if it finds one. I'm allowed to update the defaults on this price list. It means I can change anything in here. I can add customers, I can add for all customers, etc. You can lock that down, but if you said over here that this is for all customers and you lock this down, you would only be able to put in lines for all customers. You wouldn't be able to put in a special line for a particular customer. And do you want to allow people to tick and untick the allow discount boxes? You can turn those on and off as well. The defaults are probably good. I'm happy with this. And this is just going to work now going forwards. All the existing prices and discounts I had in my system are going to carry on working now with this new sales price list. So nothing to worry about there. But what happens if you want to create a new price list? You could just update this price list if you're very happy with that one big master price list. Or you can create a special price list. Let's say we want to create a special price list for a customer. We're going to give them some special prices this month or whatever it might be. I create a new price list. And it's the same logic as with everything else in Business Central. You fill in the header and then you fill in the lines. So we give it a code, or we just accept the default code that we're given. We give it a description. I'm going to call it demo. You might call it prices for XYZ Corporation 2024, or prices for our spring sales campaign, whatever it might be. This price list, does it apply to all customers or a specific customer, or does it apply to a customer price group, a campaign, or even a contact? If you have multiple contacts at the same customer, you can even say, if this guy phones up, he gets this price. If that guy phones up, he gets a different price. You know, you can do it that way if you really want to talk to someone and give them a slightly better price if they call, instead of the secretary call. Let's make this one a special price list for a particular customer. Which customer do I want this price list to apply to? We'll make it the School of Fine Art. Why not? Do I want this price list to be both prices and discounts? Or is it just special prices? Or is it just special discounts? I'm going to say this one's just special prices. At the moment, it's in draft mode. I'm not going to set any specific currency on this. And I can say it starts on the 1st of February. And maybe it's going to run for 2 months. Let's make it the 31st. I hope I got that right. Yeah. So for a particular item, for which product do I want to set this price? And again, the logic is pretty similar to what you've experienced before. So this is going to be for a mobile pedestal, let's say. I type across, if I use variants, I can choose which variant. If I have multiple units of measure, I can choose which unit of measure. just like it was before. If there's a break quantity that they only get this if they order above this quantity, I can set that. And I can give them their special price, £25. Again, I can add more items on here. I could add the same item again, pretty much as you do already. And this time, if they buy, then they can have it for £22.50 each. And I would carry on populating all the prices for all the items here. When I'm happy, review this, and when I want them to go live, change the status from draft to active. Now those prices are active. It's going to do some basic checks there and make sure they don't clash with other prices. These prices are now active, so if anybody captures a sales order for between these dates for this customer, it will pick up these prices. At any point, if I'm not happy, if something's gone wrong, if we've had a falling out with the customer, whatever it might be, I can make these prices inactive and they're back to the default prices for everyone else. And then again, 6 months in the future, we want to run this same campaign with this customer again, I can come and I can turn it back on again. Obviously, I might have to change these dates, and to do that, I would have to allow people to update the defaults. The dates in here come from up there. If I allow people to update defaults, and for whatever reason it's not letting me change that, okay, not sure why, not something I've tested, but again, we can turn that on and off to allow people that get the date columns and then be able to change the dates if that was turned on. So you set up a special price list just like that. You can do the same thing. You could have chosen discounts or both, added the lines as you need. And that's one way of creating a new price list. There are other ways of creating a new price list as well. So one good example, I have my master price list at the end of the year. I want to update that for next year. I could come along and I could copy lines from an existing price list. Perhaps I should fill in the header first. Let me do that. I'll just give it a description. Then 2, I'll allow people to update absolutely everything. Prices and discounts. I will copy lines. From which price list do I want to copy these lines? From my master price list. And do I want to adjust the prices? If I'm putting everything up by 10%, say, I would change that to 1.1 to 10% on. And if I had rounding methods, I could choose one of them. Basically, what that will do, it will create me a new price list with everything that was on the original price list. Just all the prices have been shifted up by 10%.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We've got another question. What are the options for updating price changes or discounts in bulk for multiple customers? So not just one, but multiple. So perhaps even in the thousands. Can the system accommodate that?
Yeah, again, if you're using a rapid store package to do that, you can do that in a rapid store package. Or if you've put multiple customers onto a customer price list, so all my retail customers or my wholesale customers, I've segregated them on their customer MasterCard. I can do the prices per customer price group. So yeah, there is a way to do that.
Fresh, thank you.
So that was the second way of doing your price list, and there's a third way to do it. I'm just going to leave that one in draft. We're not actually going to use it. And a new price list. Again, I'll put in the header. Give it a more meaningful name than demo. I'm going to allow this to be updating everything. I can suggest lines. I can say for a specific item or a group of items or for a particular resource. Now, this is something new that we're starting to see. In the old pricing models, you only set prices for items. Now you can set prices for items. You can set prices for resources if you sell resources. If you hire out your staff for consulting or you hire out machinery and equipment, you can put in prices for that. GL accounts, if you invoice your customers against general ledger accounts, you can start putting in prices for those general ledger accounts. A good example is some of our clients use a GL account for delivery costs or transport costs, and they're added on their sales invoices. You can do that, and you can put in default prices for those delivery costs, etc. And you can give special prices to different customers. You can give discounts to customers on their delivery charges, which was something that you weren't able to do before. So this is really nice. But you would choose which items you want to do it for, if there's a break quantity, if there's an adjustment factor, 0.9 to give a 10% less, or 1.1 to give 10% more, etc. Rounding methods, say OK, and it will go through whichever items you've selected up there. It will put lines on and suggest prices that it thinks you should charge. Obviously, you can edit them if you're not happy. So there are 3 ways of creating these price lists. You can use whichever you want. And this is why I say you might want to set up multiple testing companies, and you can have a play and see what works for you. Do you like the one big list? Do you like multiple lists? Do you like to create them by copying, by suggesting, by doing a rapid start, config package, and downloading and uploading prices? Or maybe a hybrid version where you create your new 2025 sales price list, copy the 2024 list, then use your config package to download that, alter the prices, and upload it back up, which would probably be a really easy way of updating those prices.
Talking about updating prices, we've had another question. So if I were to manually update a price directly on an order, would the price list overwrite this, or if it was better or worse, or would the manually updated price stay?
Okay, so the exact same logic that exists now on your system will still apply once this has gone live. So on a sales order or sales invoice, you can manually override the prices, you can manually override the discounts, and that will still happen after this goes live. It will work exactly the same way for your order capture people as they already have. They don't have to hassle, they don't have to worry about this impacting their work. It's the people who are updating the prices are the ones who need to be aware of how this is working in the background. Right, so one of the things I did mention, the draft. When you want to make it active, you turn it on active. When you want to turn it off, you can make it inactive. So that's nice and easy. And now we've set up some data price lists, we can go back and let's see what it looks like for an end user who might be coming in and looking at a customer. We looked at items last time, let's look at customers. And for a data incorporation, if I look at them, or if I just go straight up to their sales, you'll notice this has changed. The old venue options where you had sales prices, sales discounts, etc., that's gone. I've now got the sales price lists. And if I open that up, I can see that this customer, they exist on 3 of my price lists. And I can drill into any of these to see what's happening. And they exist because they're on the all customer lists. And I can see for the School of Fine Arts, if I look at, I think I clicked on that. Not a problem. I'll wait for my hamster wheel to finish spinning. Taking its time. The joys of doing a live demo. Okay. I'll look at my, there we go. Sales price lists. So this customer, they're on 4 different sales price lists. 3 of them where it's all customer, and the one that we set up that was just specifically for this customer. So I can see where their prices are coming from. I can manage them quite handily with this new functionality. And I think that's pretty much all I needed to show you. Denisha, do you have any more questions?
No, it's gone a little bit quiet. Again, we had those few from earlier. But you know, as Ian has said, Jack has been in touch with some of you, I know, to get to invite you onto the webinar. This information will all be available on the website. It will be available on Fresh Desk articles, and this webinar will also be available on demand on the site very, very soon. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Obviously, we covered over when it will be deprecated, so that deadline is June, July time, obviously after the wave for this year for anyone on SaaS. But if you do need any help, please do reach out. We'll be able to assist you. Thank you so much for attending, and thank you, Ian, for doing the demo today.
All right. Cheers, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.